Plymouth Township. Let's start off by saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so it's pretty cut and dry tonight. We have 3 cases or requests to oversee, decide on. So, Mr. Solicitor, we will let you start off.
Certainly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first hearing on the agenda this evening is the application of Robert Gervasi Jr., property owned by Angela Gervasi and Gabriella Howell. This is a request for a variance from Section 702C1 of the zoning ordinance to have a 4-foot setback where 16 feet is required. This property is located at 108 Kirk Street in the C residential zoning district. Is the applicant here? Okay, why don't you come right up to the table here? Mr. Gervasi, I take it?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to have you sworn in by our court reporter, and then you're going to tell us.
State your full name,
Robert Gervasi Jr.,
your last name.
Gervasi.
Right, raise your right hand, please, sir, so I may swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gervasi, tell us what it is you want to do out there on 108 Kirk Street.
So we want to, there's an existing deck and concrete that actually goes the entire 16 feet to the party line. I want to remove that, which is presently 568 square feet of impervious surface.
What was that number again?
It was 568 square feet of impervious surface
Being removed.
being removed. And I'm proposing to put a 12 by 20 one-story addition, which is only 240 square feet. So the increase in the impervious coverage and maintaining any of my water runoff would,
Decreasing it or increasing it?
I'll increase impervious. Yes, so you'll have definitely more grass surface. And my runoffs, downspout runoffs will go onto their property, not onto the neighbors. I will pipe it to the front of the house, and I've spoken to the neighbor next door, and he is well aware he's welcoming this. We actually have the signatures of all the surrounding neighbors, if you'd like that.
You can certainly hand that up if you wish.
Yes, I made 2 copies.
Thank you. Great. We'll mark that as Exhibit A for applicant 1. Let the record reflect that Mr. Gervasi has handed me 3 pages, each in support of the applicant, signed by neighbors, Ms. Bloom, B-L-O-O-M, Mr. Dunlevy, D-U-N-L-E-V-Y, and Ms. Hayes, H-A-Y-E-S, and Mr. Curry, C-U-R-R-Y. Okay, I wanted to go back to the impervious versus pervious. You're removing 568 square feet and you're putting back 240.
Correct.
So you're decreasing the impervious.
The impervious.
That's what I was wanting to get straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
You're reducing the impervious coverage, which is good.
Right,
Okay.
yes. That was the point, yep.
And the relief that you need is to allow, what, a 4-foot side
It
yard?
can now be 4 feet off of the party line.
Okay.
Presently, the existing deck goes all the way to the party line. And I actually had I've already done some work to the inside, and the building inspector has looked at it, and he couldn't believe it was built. It was literally built to the party line. So the neighbors next door are extremely happy that this thing is being removed. Plus, it was pretty well rotted, but.
Okay. And you also need an 18-foot aggregate side yard. That's the sum of the 2 side yards, which is required to be 30 feet. You need,
Right.
you're going to provide 18 feet.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. I'm going to have 14 on the one side and 4 on the other, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So, the board have any questions? Mr. Gervasi, start out with you, Abby, please.
No, the only question I was gonna have was whether or not you had the signature from 106, because it looks like that's who it's right up against, but then, so, I had another question.
All right, Mr. Higgins?
No question.
And Mr. Dale?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Has the current deck already been removed? I visited the site, and so it looked like a foundation there. I couldn't tell if that was old or new.
No, it's still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we haven't removed it. I'm waiting for the building permit.
Okay.
The only thing I did take down, I did take the deck down and I pulled a permit for that
Okay,
with the township because it was very, very unsafe.
okay,
I did rip that out.
okay.
The concrete is still there.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, that's fine. I was just
Mhm.
wondering, I didn't see the deck itself, so I was wondering, I
Yes.
couldn't tell if the foundation was new or old.
Oh,
Looked
no,
older.
no, it's still, it's just a slab, it's no foundation,
Yeah.
just concrete slab.
Okay. What's, just curious, what's the nature and purpose of the addition? Is
The
it?
kitchen,
Oh, okay.
yes.
All right. I have no further questions, thank you.
Very good. So let me just get this straight. The deck sat on top of the concrete slab?
Correct, it had independent footings, which were installed, but the concrete main around the footings, they just broke out the concrete underneath, put footings in, they did do that.
So this, all that stone next to the house wasn't even really used because there was a deck on top
With
of
the
it?
deck on top of it.
So
The
you-
deck was about 30 inches off the ground, which I know that there's a little loophole about if it's less than 30 inches, it's not considered permanent structure. That's the only thing I could think of, how they were able to build this, either that or it wasn't legal. But
And-
prior to that being there, there was signs of steps that went down to this concrete, but the concrete's in really bad shape.
Okay, now, I was just gonna ask you, there's no way to go out the backyard and not even deal with the,
Well, it's not a very big home, and out the back is the only 2 bedrooms. So at that point, you literally would have to go through, I'd have to lose a bedroom.
so
And
being
now
that it's a kitchen, it's
Yeah.
gonna come off the existing kitchen?
I want it's just gonna be an eating area right there. I really just made a family room and an eating area. I actually have the prints with me if you'd like to see.
Oh, no, good. So the neighbor that is currently has this deck was right up to her line, now she's gonna gain 4 feet
Right
back.
there. Mhm. And I told them I was gonna landscape it with trees and stuff, and they said that's wonderful.
They were happy with that?
They were very happy. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
no further questions. Is there anybody, Mr. Solicitor, have any questions?
We do have the approval, I think Ms. Leeds was asking. 106 is the next door neighbor?
Correct.
Hayes and Curry,
Yes.
they're in support, okay.
Yep.
Good, and they're the side that we're talking about?
That's the one
here?
we're talking about, correct.
Okay. And did you say you would landscape that
I will.
side?
Yep. It'll
Okay.
be mulched and flowered and landscaped pretty.
If the board grants relief, you'd be okay with a condition that required you to landscape that side?
Correct. Yes,
Okay,
no problem.
okay. That's it for me.
All right, is there anybody in attendance tonight that would like to speak in favor of this proposal? Is there anybody here tonight that would like to speak against it? All right, that being said, we'll do a roll call vote. Oh, wait,
Yeah, let's have a
we
motion.
have a motion.
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to grant a variance from the Township zoning ordinance number 342 as amended. Article 7, Section 702, point capital C, point 1, to have a 4-foot setback where 16 feet is required. The property located in one of the Church Region C residential zoning district to be completed in conformance with the exhibits and testimony offered this evening and with appropriate landscaping on the site.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Leeds?
Yes.
Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
Mr. Dale?
In favor.
I vote in favor as well. Good luck with your project.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
I'll be in touch.
Okay, great. We'll call me.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Good night, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is next item on the agenda, Kyle Farnholtz and Erica Rasquet. This is a request for a variance to allow a 6-foot high fence to be installed within the front yard setback. That's section 1909.E of the Plymouth Township zoning ordinance. This is proposed to be a 6-foot-high wooden shadow box fence around the backyard. This property is located at 811 Woodbrook Lane in the B Residential Zoning District. Mr. Farnholtz and Ms. Rasquet.
Yep.
Excellent, good to see you. Can we swear these nice folks in? Paula, please.
Will you testify? Raise your right hand. State your full name for the record first.
Erica Rasco,
Spell your last name.
Raskay.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Rasquet, tell the zoning hearing board what it is you would like to do.
Yeah, we're looking to put up a shadow box fence in our backyard. We're a corner lot property. The fence is gonna go right up against our backyard neighbors. They will also have a shadow box. I think it's about 5 to 6 foot, but they have a scallop, so kind of hard to tell. So it's gonna go right up to where their property is. It's also gonna go to where the side road is, where the issue is, where it's typically supposed to be about 30 feet back. Theirs is about 10 foot back. We're looking to put ours right up against theirs 10 foot back as well. That's gonna come up about to maybe the back end of our house, which is still gonna be 78 feet back from Woodbrook Lane, which is in front of our property. I have that all in Exhibit A, which was provided by the fencing company.
So this is going to be 10 feet off of Chelsea Road?
Yes,
Okay, and that's just a continuation of your neighbors?
yes.
Up the side of your property?
Yep,
Okay. And then it's going to be 78 feet off of Woodbrook in the front and the other side, which is both Woodbrook?
the other side, oh, yes, about that, yes. I think it's,
Oh, no.
it might not, it's actually gonna be a little bit further back on the right-hand side, if you mean on the other side of the house, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, I was looking at your proposed drawing.
This is Woodbrook here in front.
Right, oh, this is Woodbrook, okay. Oh, Woodbrook is, you don't have 3 frontages, you only have 2 frontages.
Correct.
Okay, we've dealt with some that have 3. So the side opposite Chelsea is running along your neighbor's property to the
That's correct.
right side when you're facing your home.
That's correct, and I believe the previous owners had a fence there. It's pretty in bad shape right now, so we're looking to tear that up and replace it as well, which we got their verbal approval for.
Okay. Is there somebody living there now?
Yes,
Did you talk to them?
yep,
Okay, and what did they,
yeah, they couldn't believe the old fence hadn't been torn down before. They're very happy to have it gone.
they're happy to have it going, okay. All right.
All right. So we'll start out with our questions. Ms. Lee, do you have any questions?
I have no questions.
Mr. Higgins
No questions.
and Mr. Daly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Prescott, are you going to be using the same kind of fencing as your neighbor?
Yep, wood shadow box.
Wood shadow box, okay. Do you anticipate any potential visibility issues for motorists at the intersection of Chelsea and Quaker Street?
I think 78 feet back from the intersection. I
Yeah.
should not anticipating
It looks like
anything.
10 feet off Chelsea too, so that looks pretty
Yeah.
good. Okay, I don't have any further questions, thank you.
Yeah, that was my only, I kind of like the fact that it's 10 feet off Chelsea, so
Yeah.
that sometimes people want to go all the way up to the road. But, no further questions, thank you. Ms. Silser, any questions?
No, sir.
All right, is anybody in attendance tonight who wants to speak in favor, against? With that being said, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to allow variance from the Clinton Township zoning ordinance 1909.E to allow a 6-foot fence to be installed within the front yard setback of the property at 811 Woodbrook Lane, the residential zoning district. The end of the fence will be about 78 feet back from Woodbrook Lane and Chelsea Road intersection. And there will also be a 6-foot wood shadow box fence around the backyard. All work to be completed in conformance with the exhibits and testimony offered here.
And do we have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote, Ms. Leeds.
I'm in favor.
And Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
Mr. Daly?
In favor.
I'm also in favor, go back with the fence.
Thank you.
I'll be in bench.
Yes.
Last but not least tonight, we have the application of Patrick and Lisa Delaney. This application is for relief from section 2500.A and possibly section 1700 of the Plymouth Township zoning ordinance to allow the use of a dance school in the campus industrial district and, to the extent required, a variance to permit 58 off-street parking spaces. This property is located at 540 Township Line Road in the Campus Industrial Zoning District. Mr. Lewis is here tonight representing the applicant. Mr. Lewis.
Good evening. Good evening, Rob Lewis from Kaplan Stewart. I represent the owner of 540 Township Line Road, Patrick Delaney. To my left is Angela Preston, who is the Director of Operations for Bluebell School of Dance. Mr. Delaney is also seated to my rear, in case you have any questions for him. As is my typical practice, when I'm before the zoning hearing board, I have handed to you exhibit packages. Most of that material was submitted with the application. I did include a little bit extra. And if the board will permit me, I'll do my best to walk you through those exhibits. In doing so, provide some background and a summary really of the application, and then call Angela for some brief testimony and answer any questions that the board may have. So unless there's any initial questions from me, I'll jump right into it. Great. So applicant's exhibit A1, simply a copy of the deed to the property, vesting title to the property. Client, Patrick Delaney, and his wife. You can see they've owned the property since 1990. Mr. Delaney actually had his own contracting businesses operating out of that facility for a number of years. Next is applicant's exhibit A2. That's simply a copy of the application that brings us here this evening. As summarized by your solicitor, we are seeking a variance to permit a dance school in the campus industrial district, and then out of an abundance of caution, we have requested a variance from the parking standards. Joel and I both were a bit troubled by trying to calculate the exact number, so rather than potentially be in a scenario where we had to come back, we have requested relief from the parking regulations as well. Next is applicant's exhibit A3. I've simply included 3 Google images, one kind of a wider aerial showing the property, one a little bit more zoomed in, and then a street view. I think most people are probably pretty familiar with this property. I think I drive by it every day since my office is around the corner. And if I can, I'll describe the property a little bit for the board. The property itself is 1.79 acres. Obviously located along Township Line Road, not far from Five Points intersection. The property is improved with a 2-story commercial office warehouse building that has a total square footage of just over 17,000 square feet. About 2,800 square feet of the interior of that building is a high ceiling warehouse. So from the street, you can kind of make out the portion that's warehouse, but it generally has a depiction of an office space. The existing building is served by approximately 58 off-street parking spaces. The building has, as I mentioned, been historically occupied by a mix of office and other light industrial types of tenants. That's typically what you may see under the campus industrial zoning district. Campus industrial does allow some pretty intense uses, even right there along Township Line Road. In addition to the Google aerial images, I did include again the floor plans. These are just general floor plans provided by an architect previously to Mr. Delaney, just to give the board a sense of how the property is laid out on the interior. It's much easier through those plans to see where the high ceiling warehouse portion is to the rear, and then the remainder generally being offices and other ancillary facilities. As you've heard, my client has entered into a lease with Bluebell School of Dance, and that is to occupy about 7,000 square feet of that existing building, including that high ceiling warehouse portion. If you don't know, Bluebell School of Dance, they are a long-standing dance studio in the community. They have been in the community since 1964. And if you go to their website, it says celebrating 60 seasons. So long-standing member of the community, but they have been at 921 Penland Bluebell Pike, which is the Bluebell Village property right at Penland and Skipback. That building was recently sold, and the new owner has some new grand designs, I guess, for that building. And so Bluebell School of Dance is now relocating. And obviously, critical to them is not only finding appropriate space to house that type of facility, but staying in the community. Lucky enough, Angela and Mr. Delaney were able to find each other, and we believe that this facility is a perfect fit for their use. As I mentioned, the property is zoned campus industrial, and so it would typically, you would see office tenants, light manufacturing, warehouse, and those kinds of uses. So a studio or a recreation use, as this would be classified, would not be strictly permitted under that code. So we are seeking relief to permit that dance studio, and that relief is from section 2500.A of the Plymouth Township Code. As the Planning Commission noted during their review, we believe the school is an excellent use of this space and complementary to existing nearby uses. The hours for the school for operation are Monday through Wednesday, 4:30 to 9:30 p.m., so generally after primary business hours. Thursday, there is a daytime session from 10:30 to 11:30, and then again 4:30 to 9:30. Fridays are 4:30 to 8. Saturday 9 to 5:30, again when the office spaces along Township Line Road are likely empty.
9 to 4:30 on Saturday?
9 to 5:30.
5:30.
And then Sundays are reserved for private lessons. Although the property has ample parking, in fact, my count of those spaces was 58. The use is also a good fit here because the vast majority of the students are being dropped off by parents. So they're not occupying parking spaces on a regular basis. If they do, it's for short durations as they drop kids off and then pick them up. I'll note, as I said at the outset, we have simply requested relief from the parking standards simply because it's ambiguous as to what the requirement would be for this use when combined with the office space. But here, there's no anticipation of having any parking issues. To give you an example, Bluebell School of Dance has 9 employees. 8 of those are instructors, and then the other is an office manager. And typically, there are 5 to 6 instructors at any one time. So those are likely your most permanent uses of parking spaces. Classes average about 10 students per class, with no more than 15 at any one time. There are no proposals for large-scale productions here, so you're not going to have those kind of holiday productions or something where you're going to have 100 people showing up to this location. So again, the demand or impact from a parking standpoint should be relatively low and easily managed by the existing 58 parking spaces. When I was speaking with Angela in anticipation of this proceeding, I'm familiar with her current location. I'm working on the property next door, but she pointed out that that location, which currently has a number of different types of tenants and similar or more office spaces, has significantly less parking serving all of those users. And other than when Panache decides to overflow into their parking lot, they don't have parking issues. The parking issues certainly are not because of the dance school. So here, dramatically more parking and none of that overlap with an adjacent users. Again, I have Angela Preston, Director of Operations. If the board will permit me, I'll call her and ask her to answer a couple of questions.
Spell your full name for the record, please.
Angela Preston.
Spell.
Oh, Angela Preston.
Thank you, raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are giving in this matter is the truth and the truth and the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
And would it be acceptable to the board if I asked Angela to adopt my opening as her
Absolutely.
testimony?
Yes.
So Angela, just very quickly, what is your current occupation?
I am the director of the Bluebell School of Dance
And how long have you been the director of Bluebell School of Dance?
for 14 years.
How long have you generally been involved with Bluebell School of Dance?
That was 3.
And generally speaking, Bluebell School of Dance is a studio that's been in your family for several generations.
Yes. My
And-
grandmother started in 1964.
And currently your father is the owner of the school and you're the director of operations.
Correct.
And so that makes you familiar with the daily operations and the goings-on.
Yes.
Okay. You heard me present an opening and a summary of facts and summary of your proposed use of the facility. If you were called to testify this evening, would you testify to those facts as I presented them to the board?
Certainly.
Would you also agree with my conclusions that the space is appropriate for your use?
Yes.
And that you do not anticipate parking to be a challenge with the number of spaces that exist?
Not at all.
Any reason to believe that your proposed use of the property would be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare?
No.
Any reason to believe that your use would impair the appropriate use or enjoyment of adjoining properties?
No.
Unless the board has any questions, I'll leave it to that for the moment.
Are you done?
I am. Thank you.
All right, so obviously nobody here in the room will do a questioning by the board. Ms. Lees?
My only question, I think I understand, but you're not looking to expand the existing parking, correct?
Correct.
Because you said there were 58 spaces, but then it looked like you were looking for a variance for them. I just want to make sure you're not putting in extra parking, just what's there.
Correct. There's about 58 existing parking spaces. When I spoke to Mr. Delaney, depending on the access situation, they may have to restrike a handicap space or two just to make sure that they have appropriate spaces, but no additional impervious surfaces.
All right, that was my only question.
All right, Mr. Higgins?
No question.
Mr. Dale?
No question.
So my only question, so just to clarify, you're not taking over the entire building?
Correct.
That was what I was going to ask, Mr. Chairman.
So
Of the 17,000 square foot building, you did say how many square feet the dance school is going to rent. What's that number?
Approximately 7,000 square feet,
Approximately 7,000.
all on the first floor space plus the high ceiling portion. So some of the office space, the second floor office space will remain, and some of the first floor office space will remain.
remain in use by the existing users?
Correct.
Okay, so you're just taking some of the offices and the entire warehouse area?
Yes.
Okay, and I guess will you be utilizing there's a loop, the drop-off loop, is that, do I see that correctly?
Yeah, I think that would be very beneficial, honestly.
Is that something you're gonna
Yeah.
utilize? Okay, is that would drop off and go
Yeah.
around
It
that?
sounds like, I mean, that,
I didn't know if
like,
that was in use, or is that just a?
It is, yes.
That's a drive for?
There's a one-way, once you get behind the building and you continue on, it's a one-way.
It's a functional driveway?
Exactly,
I
yes.
think that'll mitigate any issues too.
Yeah, yeah, I have no further questions. Mr. Solicitor?
I think we're ready for a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Oh, you did, there is, let the record reflect, there is no one else other than the applicant and the folks that she came in with. Is there anyone who wishes to comment on this application? Seeing none, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Solicitor, can I just make sure?
Oh,
applicants can
yes.
say 1 through 4?
They will be accepted. Mr. Lewis, thank you.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman, to grant variances from the Township zoning ordinance number 342 as amended, Article 25, Section 2500, capital A, and Article 17, Section 1700, to permit use of the dance school in the campus industrial district and to the extent required, and variances to permit 58 off-street parking spaces at the property located at 540 Township Line Road in the campus industrial zoning district, to be conducted in conformance with the exhibits and testimony offered in this hearing.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, Ms. Leeds?
In favor?
Mr. Higgins?
In favor.
Mr. Dale?
In favor.
And I vote in favor. Congratulations. Good luck to you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.